Hello and welcome back to Yapping About Sports. On today's show, the Detroit Tigers snapped their 6-game losing streak, avoiding a 7th straight loss, and win 4-1 over the Tampa Bay Rays on Jackson Jobe night on Tuesday. MLB roundtable from Tuesday night a little bit, and mainly just important notes. And finally, some college football talk, as we will have college football on Saturday, counting down the days. The only thing college football-wise that I will tap on, though, is what I expect or what really makes college football, like what would be a successful college football season. Before we get to kickoff, what makes college football, and really what I would like to see out of this season. I have my own opinions about college athletics right now. I'm definitely I'll get into a little bit later, obviously, but without further ado, the Detroit Tigers for the Tampa Bay Rays won on Tuesday night. Jackson Jobe would get the start, 4 innings and 1/3 of one-run baseball. And you got to give him props because even if he wasn't able to get 15 outs for you tonight, he battled with one-run baseball. Being able to escape that 4th inning after having 2nd and 3rd and nobody out and then bases loaded and 1 out, definitely have to give him your props there. That was all Jackson Jobe being able to pitch his way out of that one. Drew Summers comes in and throws 1 2/3 of shutdown baseball. 1 strikeout, but 1 2/3 of no runs allowed, no hits, and no walks to bridge into the 7th inning and get to Jacob Waguespack, who then got to Tyler Holton in the 8th, who then closed it down with Kenley Jansen without allowing a base runner in the 9th. A quick inning of work, definitely a couple hard-hit foul balls, but no runs, no base runners, equals the Detroit Tigers win, and the snap of the 6-game losing streak to Tampa Bay. On the offensive side of things, I was very happy to be in attendance for Max Clark's first career home run at Comerica Park. Again, sending them into a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Kevin McGonigal would add an RBI single, giving the Tigers a 3-1 lead through 5 innings of work. Lee would add on an RBI single later on to add insurance, giving the Tigers their 4th and final run. Kenley Jansen and Tyler Holton have clean innings, only 1 base runner allowed between the 8th and 9th inning, but big props to settling down the game after Jobe left with Drew Summers. And again, the 2 goals and the main 2 reasons you have your bullpen keep you in games and hold down games that you should be able to win. So Tigers are 62-70. Unfortunately, they are just too deep into the season where the playoffs are just not a realistic chance anymore. Too many teams to lap. Cleveland just got to above 500. The Rangers and Astros are beginning to figure it out on what is going to happen in the American League West a little bit. So just doesn't seem very plausible that the Detroit Tigers make the playoffs. And with still 4 games left between Tampa Bay and LA, I expect them to go at best 2-2, and at worst 0-4. So not very optimistic. I just really would not put any stock left into this team to make the 2026 postseason. So I know that Cleveland won tonight, Boston won tonight. I think Houston may have won tonight. I didn't see what the final was between Chicago and Texas. Looked like Chicago, I believe, was winning that game. But I'm not looking at the standings anymore for the American League. National League seems to be pretty set too. Padres and Robbie Ray fall 1-0 to the Pirates. Diamondbacks, I know, lost to the Chicago Cubs, but still very, not as tight as it once was. You have Texas and Houston battling for first place, and that'll be the third. You have the third American League West, or division team will obviously be the West winner, but 500 will no longer get you in right now after a 67-66 mark from the Cleveland Guardians. As they continue to get back into shape with an 8-6 win over the Los Angeles Angels tonight. So if you're looking at the Tigers, there's just too many roadblocks now in front of you. Too many good teams left on your schedule that are going to be fighting for a playoff spot. And it's really going to irk me if they get to any form of run in September. If they fall within 2 games, I'm sorry. It's going to be a lost season. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be disappointing. and could have been clearly avoidable. Because if you fall anywhere short and it's in within a close margin, within 5 or more games, really it's going to be falling solely on that bullpen blowing all the seventh inning leads. It really is. You have to go in with the expectation of every time you enter that seventh inning with a lead, you should have arms in the bullpen to get you 9 outs. And the Tigers have unfortunately not been able to do so. So that's all I really got for Major League Baseball. It's winding down. Interest level will sort of begin to shift to football. Not fully, obviously, but playoff baseball will be my main focus and teams that are going to be in the postseason moving forward. But Tigers, 8 games under 500 as we're closing in on less than a week to go until September. 30 games now remaining on the schedule. They need to at least go, 20-10 to really do anything of possible. 20-10. You can't afford no more than 10 losses right now. So 82-80 is really right now with only 1 game over 500 getting you in is going to get you in, but I'm not really focusing on the big picture. I'm focusing on every series. Win 2 out of 3, win 2 out of 3, win 3 out of 3, win 2 out of 3, win 2 out of 3. Maybe you just can't afford to lose series. You have to say, hey, we can maybe afford to lose 1 game. What's the, you don't circle it, but what's the most game out of this series we can afford to maybe drop without applying pressure too much to ourselves. And I'm just sort of done with the baseball talk right now in terms of Tigers. Can't wait for postseason. And right now you have the Dodgers and Braves, 2 first-place teams. After the Braves and Brewers just got done playing in between 2 first-place teams, you have just competitive baseball still yet to be played. Sucks that the Tigers really just aren't in that competitive frame anymore, but that just is the reality and is what it is right now. So shifting away from the Detroit Tigers, college football. We are counting down the days. College football Saturday is nearly here with TCU and North Carolina. And I believe Virginia and North Carolina State is the other Power 4 matchup that I was looking at and circling. I believe USC and San Jose State. A couple other minor games going on as well. But college football, for real, meaningful games being played on Saturday. What makes college football? To me, just tailgating, having that crisp feeling in the air, going to your local or in-state university, whether it be, big or small. For me, it's Michigan State. Other teams, it could be Michigan, Central, Western. You go around Ohio State, Ohio, Notre Dame, Indiana, Purdue, a lot of teams within the region that you could have to celebrate just in terms of Midwest. But college football, I just, the coolness in the air, waking up on Saturday with something to watch on the television at 9 a.m. every single week with something to entertain you, whether it's Big Noon Kickoff or College Game Day, and just being a fan, just, being like, this is the weekend, this is what we're meant to celebrate, having fan bases to communicate with and celebrate with, and, that's what the name of the game is. But ultimately, you're playing meaningful football, and it's going to, the one thing is you're no more Lee Corso, the staple of college football, no longer there. But what I'm looking forward to and what makes college football, or to better reframe that, what I'm looking forward to make this a successful football season is brand names to be brand names. USC, Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Well, not Indiana, obviously not a brand name, but in terms of recency bias, 2025 into 2026, you need somebody like a USC, a Florida, a Texas to sort of solidify themselves in the playoff again. Oklahoma, Georgia, really a lot of SEC teams really need to re-solidify and have some solid seasons, because letting Miami sort of fly their way all the way to the championship game last year was really shocking. You had Ohio State drop, you had Texas A&M drop. Just other teams that haven't been able to really find their groove. But yeah, it's just what makes college football is brand names being brand names, whether it be Ohio State, Texas, Michigan, Alabama, Oklahoma, so on and so forth. Just having brand names be brand names, having those staple winners, and I think it's always healthy for the sport. I really do. Having an Alabama, having an LSU, having an Ole Miss, having a Georgia, having an Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Tech, all these different types of teams. Nebraska, if Nebraska could finally do something out of the Big Ten, that would sort of be a help. But you have these teams and these teams and these universities that have a brand to them and expect to win when it's football season. And a lot of teams like Florida, like Nebraska, just simply haven't followed through in winning. And now that you have 12 teams, I'm not a big fan of 12 teams. I think 8 is more your perfect number. 4 to 8 is more your perfect number, with there now being 4 Power 4 teams. I just don't think it's feasible to really field 3 to 4 teams out of the same conference unless you're for sure that they are all capable of winning a college football playoff game. But I'll get into more as we get closer, and we're still over a week and a half away from game time for Michigan State. We'll not go into Michigan State or Michigan preview until the day before on that Thursday or Friday. So one bold take that I will give you, though, that this is my one bold prediction for Pat Fitzgerald's first season at Michigan State and in East Lansing is I believe Michigan State will upset one out of the two between Notre Dame and Oregon. I think Michigan State will be very capable by winning. There's going to be one game you look at, and it's going to be just off of having a dog mentality and playing for Pat Fitzgerald and playing with that toughness and restoring some of that grittiness to this Michigan State program. I think that he has the right motivation, he has the right mindset, is familiar enough with the sport, has enough resources now with where the athletic department is. I think that Michigan State football will beginning to trend in the right direction. I don't think it's just prisoner of the moment buying into what you're seeing on social media. I think you have a coach that has resources, that actually wants to recruit, that understands the image, that understands the want to, and is taking full advantage of that. And really there is, for me, looking at Michigan State specifically, this is a season full of opportunity. You have games against teams like Notre Dame and Oregon, who are in the college football playoff and national title contender conversation, and Michigan. You have 3 teams that are going to be very much there for the taking, or even if you get thumped, at least show some competitiveness and some fight. At least show that you're going to be able to hang around with these teams sooner than later. So that's what I have for you guys today. The Tigers snapped their 6-game losing streak. College football right around the corner. What do you guys expect out of Michigan State and Michigan? I'm expecting, I'll go into that as we get closer to the season, but you need the brand names to be the brand names. Have one or two teams very unexpectedly pop their way through maybe and make a run and maybe just see where they're at. So that's what I have, though, for you guys. Can't wait for college football, and playoff baseball will also be right around the corner. September baseball will be right around here in the next month or so. So without further ado, thank you all again for listening. I'll be back again tomorrow.